the... Okay, so it's working again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Torn Tuesday, your weekly dose of all things Tolkien. My name is Justin. That's Cliff.
And my name is Clifford. And hello, everybody. Perhaps my audio sounds a little bit different, and I hope that it does, because now we've got the proper microphone for the job. We actually have the proper microphone for the job. It's not as LED crazy as Justin's microphone, but it certainly does sound and look better. Hello, everyone. This is the place here on the internet where you come every week to join us for all things Hobbit, the Silmarillion, and the Lord of the Rings. Also, lots of healthy conversations about the Rings of Power and the upcoming The War of the Rohirrim, not least of which we talk about games, cultural events, big conventions, events, all kinds of Tolkien stuff, round the clock, all year round. Welcome back. This is Torn Tuesday, and it is so lovely to have you guys join us again. Tell me, how do I sound? How does it sound?
You sound great. This is the best you've ever sounded, and I want to offer up your voice to the chat. Folks, if you want Cliff to say anything as best he's ever said it, let's test this mic out.
Okay.
Welcome to all of our regulars. We're streaming on YouTube and Twitch and everything like that. I see Candace, and I see Finrod and Jeannie of Gondor. Kaylin Griffin has been with us for so many years. It's so wonderful. Kathy says, you sound awesome, Cliff.
Thank you. Why, thank you so much. Hello, Daisy Kim. There's Finrod84. Hey, there's Jean.
Nigel wants you to say for Frodo.
For Frodo.
Imran says you have a nice radio voice. Can you give us a station ID for WKRP, the One Ring?
This is station identification for WKRP in Cincinnati, your one-stop shop for all furry-footed folks. Welcome, once again, to our wavelength.
Love it. I love it. Oh, man, that's so much fun. Cliff, we have so much to get into this week, and I just want to start out here with an amazing little tweet from Kieran Shaw, our buddy Kieran Shaw.
Oh, yes, Kieran. He's amazing.
This time 20 years ago, I was back in New Zealand to finish Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. This would make it 2003. Now, Cliff,
oh my
this
gosh!
must have been a reshoot, correct?
There were reshoots. Most famously, we realized that Peter Jackson could indulge himself a little bit more with the extended editions. And just when The Return of the King was done, it wasn't really done because it was released in theaters, and even at that time, they rolled cameras to go back for more reshoots. All that extra stuff that happens in The Return of the King really is about 42 minutes. Count them again. 42 minutes of extra movie footage. And we're well aware from the stories that were floating around on Ain't It Cool News and other nerd websites back at the time that Peter had cameras rolling for the Paths of the Dead. There were extra scenes for the mustering of Rohan. And there were so many extra things that were going to be shot. And imagine that big avalanche of skulls when Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn are trying to talk to the King of the Dead in the Paths of the Dead. Well, they reshot a lot of extra scenes, lots of stuff shot there.
Frodo was not in the Paths of the Dead, so why would Kieran Shaw be part of reshoots?
Let's see. Perhaps there was much more material where Frodo and Sam were in their orcs costumes, trying to disguise themselves as little orcs, walking through Mordor. There could have been...
He posted a photo of
external
the Grey
scenes.
Havens. So my question to you, Cliff, is, was the Grey Havens a reshoot? An added scene? There was nothing extra in the extended edition about the Grey Havens, was there?
I think Kieran Shaw had to do the size double for old Bilbo, who is seen in that shot walking towards the boat, and very gently, Elrond, the Lord of Rivendell, takes Bilbo under his arm and walks towards the
Well,
boat.
why would that be a reshoot? Don't you think that would have been part of principal production?
You'd think. I wonder.
Huh.
But maybe they just didn't get it. Maybe they just didn't get it, and they were working on getting some extra things, but didn't. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I think we should all know this, but the Return of the King Extended Edition doesn't have any changes to those final scenes. Did you guys hear that? I think my microphone is picking up the noise of a very upset kitty cat. Oh, who's this over here? Ladies and gentlemen.
Troy just joined us in the chat room. How you doing, Troy? Happy Torn Tuesday.
Goodness gracious. There's
the Mithrandir has joined us. Cliff, other big news. This week was Bear McCreary's birthday, and it's our first opportunity to wish Bear McCreary, as a member of the Tolkien and Lord of the Rings family and community, a very happy birthday. And on his new blog,
we should do a birthday toast. Why don't we make a new thing happen where we do a toast
on his new
Bear.
blog, he just released today. It turns out that the lament for Galadriel that we hear in episode 3 or 4 is his wife. Bear McCreary's wife is singing.
Oh, how lovely.
The Rings of Power soundtrack.
That is so cool. That is very cool. I didn't realize that. You know what? Happy birthday to you, Bear. Congratulations for going around the sun one more time. And I didn't realize that he was an Aquarius, like me. I mean, I just had my birthday a couple of weeks ago, and here's Bear McCreary having his birthday right next to me. Well done, sir. Well done.
But Cliff, the big news this week, of course.
The awards?
Rings of Power wins 5 awards this last weekend. 3 at the Visual Effects Society. And then 2 awards at the Art Directors Guild Awards. This is huge. And this coming weekend, it is up for Best Stunt Ensemble in a television series at the SAG Awards. That is this weekend, this Sunday. So I have a good feeling about this SAG Awards. I gotta say, like the stunties that from New Zealand did an awesome job for a television show, and I think they deserve to win. But the big one,
that's exciting. That's very exciting. And this is great. If the Screen Actors Guild is making these efforts to award the stunt performers, then yes, why isn't the Academy paying closer attention and doing the same? Again, we here at Torn Tuesday constantly advocate for the stunt performers to be given the acknowledgement from their peers. And we're talking about the award level acknowledgement from their peers that they deserve, especially with what this industry owes them. I think the motion picture industry and the television industry really needs to wake up, because they owe so much to the work and the broken legs and the torn tendons and the cracked ribs that all these stunt performers have to put up with.
The 2 brain injuries that occurred on the set of Rings of Power.
That is also true. These people were injured to make your entertainment and to make it believable and beautiful and very profoundly affecting. But these performers are neglected by the Academy, most of the academies, especially the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Looking at you, Oscar, looking at you. So yes, this is very good. I'm very encouraged.
So now that the SAG Awards is offering this award, this might be the first year it'll be televised. I think the Kiwis, the stunties, our New Zealand friends deserve to win the first award for stunt ensemble.
Absolutely. So is this the inaugural of this particular award category?
I believe so.
Justin, is this the very first time this award category has been developed and is used by the Screen Actors Guild for this award?
I believe so. And the Oscars should be next.
Wild. That's wild. It took this long. And yes, agree. I think the Board of Governors of the Motion Picture Academy needs to get their ish together and restructure this categories and let those stunt performers have their due. But yes, congratulations to the hardworking people in New Zealand who worked on The Rings of Power Season 1. Now there's a whole different, even that award for the art department, he's gone. He's not there.
Yeah, so it won 2 awards for the Art Director Guild Award, something I didn't know existed, but we're really excited. 1 hour fantasy single camera series goes to Ramsey Avery, the production designer.
Ramsey Avery, he's the one who left. Ironically, he wins the award for this category, and very ironically, he's no longer with the production. So,
Cliff, do you know the second award that they won?
Tell me.
The art direction for the title reveal trailer.
Oh, that's right. That's right. There was an extraordinary acknowledgement for the folks who did that forge work with the hot molten metal over the wood. That was really, really super cool. We were there in person for that. And most of fandom was like, what the hell? Why didn't they use that as the opening? The actual, real opening. Because it was so cool. But they won the special award.
It's way better than the actual opening of the show.
Doomed to die.
Well, didn't you think? You've also said that too, if I'm not mistaken, Justin, that you thought that would have been the greatest opening credit sequence. Each episode.
Even if they, I could have done without the voiceover for if it's going to be the title treatment of the show. Yeah. But I don't know why this isn't the title of the show. Cliff, we were lucky enough to visit the set. And remember, folks, this was the first look at anything. No one had been invited to the set because of lockdown. So the first anything that anyone got to see, Cliff and I were on set for the making of the title reveal trailer. And Cliff, you sweat amongst the boilers. You smell the poison gas, the metal being molten and then poured into these molds.
The very air we breathed was a poison fume. Not with 1,000 men could they do this. But they did.
How did you feel seeing the title for the first time in physical form?
Oh, I thought it was dynamite. I thought it was very, very special indeed. But the award that they got is from the is it from the advertising industry?
No, it's the Art Directors Guild. Remember, everything in Hollywood is unionized. Everybody has union. There's a makeup union. There's a sound mixer union. There's a grip union. There's a lighting union. There's a camera union. There's a directors union. There's even a producers union.
That's right. There's a producers guild called the PGA. Yes.
So the 2 awards that they won are for the full 1 hour fantasy single camera series. Ramsey Avery, production designer. He's no longer with the show. We have an idea who replaced him. We'll reveal that on a future show. And then the second Art Director Guild Awards is the art direction for that title reveal.
Okay. For a second there, I thought it was the Clio Awards. And the Clio are offered through it's for the advertising people who offer awards for the best advertisements and commercials.
The Clios were a couple months ago, remember, Cliff? And Rings won for, I think, a poster reveal or a billboard or something like that.
Okay.
Aim in the chat room says, I prefer grains of sand opening. It's a bit more elaborate. You know what? Let me put that to the chat room.
Cool.
Chat, do you like the title reveal that we just watched, or do you prefer the sands and the grain? I feel like the sands and the grain, here's me influencing your choice. I feel like the concept of the sands and grain is fan service, because we all know that Middle Earth is begotten by the music of the Ainur and everything like that, and those are
but the fact that they took the creation myth, the fact that they even bothered to take that basic musical idea of Tolkien's creation myth and put it into sonic plates that vibrate and make patterns of sound. It's like, what an interesting concept. I think that it is
but
probably,
they didn't sell it.
Yeah, maybe you're right. They didn't sell it, but conceptually, it is deeply fascinating when you think about it. Really,
It is fascinating, but the
it
thing
is.
that kills it for me is that the absolute terrible font title treatment. You have these wonderful high end film and CG elements. Everything looks like real sand, and then it goes into the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power title, and it's like the most generic font treatment that doesn't look like sand assembling. It doesn't even look real. It looks like we discussed this when we reviewed the season 1 report card, and we discussed this at length, and we did not give it an A.
Yes, we did.
Because the titles were terrible. And I think the marketing team at Amazon did a great job with that actual title reveal, and I hope they consider that for future seasons to just expand on that. The marketing people,
I second that emotion.
Kind of know what they're doing.
Yep, I second that emotion. I prefer the early preview title reveal, and if that was on the front of season 2, what if they changed it and made season 3 different? It could be remarkable.
That's what Game of Thrones did. Like, they just changed.
So did Westworld.
Bit. Yeah,
Westworld also had some changes to their opening credits, yes.
But, Cliff, let's talk about the big awards. Of course, Visual Effects Society, the 3 awards: Outstanding Visual Effects in a Photo-Real Episode.
Yes.
Outstanding Created Environment.
Oh, yes.
For Numenor. And then Outstanding Effects Simulations for the volcano burst.
I'm amazed.
Your reaction, Cliff. Does Rings of Power deserve those 3 awards for those 3 things?
Yes, absolutely. I agree, and so does Mithrandir. Mithrandir agrees as well.
I tell you that we did not deserve that volcano burst looking that good and that accurate.
You know what? That volcano scene was amazing. It was a little brief. Do you know what I mean? I looked at the shot and I'm like, wow, those visual effects. When the camera had been pulled back many miles, and was looking at the entire plateau, which will be in the future named the Plateau of Gorgoroth. But when the camera went that far back for that wide shot, and you could see all the pyroclastic flow and the clouds and the lightning zapping out of the volcanic explosion, it was just too brief. It was definitely the money shot. It was really, really impressive. And I thought, oh man, why don't we just watch some more of that? Let us have like a different angle of that, because it was so fantastic. It was just a little too brief.
I have an opinion on the second award that they won here, which is Outstanding Created Environment for Numenor. I personally did not really appreciate the full Numenor creation. I feel like,
well, it was way better than what they did with Eragion. Okay. Yeah, when you're watching the end of episode 7 or episode 8, and some of these characters are walking around Eragion, you're like, what's going on here? There are so many elves not there. There's no extras, because all the extras were used in Numenor and in the Southlands, and you're desperately looking to see more signs of life in Eragion, and they just didn't get it. It just wasn't there. They spent all of their effort on Numenor, and I thought it was beautifully rendered. Really beautiful.
And you know what? Maybe this is the burden that this show has coming after Peter Jackson, because I just watched Battle of Five Armies again this weekend, and it's every single environment, every single city, everywhere Peter Jackson takes us, like within minutes, I fully realized where we're at, what type of people live here, how well maintained the infrastructure of the city is, the reputation of the town or the city, like what its purpose is in broader geopolitical atmosphere of Middle Earth. I don't know. Peter Jackson does such a great job establishing what and why each town and city does its thing. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Look, you know what? You can complain about the Hobbit trilogies all you want, but look at the way Lake Town was established in the second film.
Look at the way Rohan is established. We don't know anything about the Horse Lords, but that helicopter shot when we come around Edoras, and you're like, yep, I understand these people already. And then when we get to, when Eowyn comes running out to the stairs and we get another helicopter shot, it's like, okay, I get it. And when we get to Helm's Deep, we kind of understand where everything's at. Even in Gondor, and I feel like Gondor is the best comparison to Numenor.
Okay. Yes, it is. For obvious reasons. Yes.
Yeah, and there, for me as a viewer, I do get a little lost in Gondor because like he's bracing the gate for the troll, and then it's like, but there's like 500 feet to get to the top. There's no way that the armies and the trolls would have gotten to the top of Gondor on the same day that they attack it. I mean, there's too many levels, I don't know. Like, for me, Numenor did not have the magic. All of the hype that you gave me, because I'm not very familiar with Numenor, all the hype that all the fans have been about, I can't wait to see Numenor for the first time. And then we finally get there, and I was kind of underwhelmed. Honestly, we see a dock, we see a prison, we see a courtyard, and maybe this is because COVID had certain rules on limiting the number of extras, or, I don't know. I was underwhelmed by Numenor. Am I alone in this?
Perhaps. I mean, I was underwhelmed by, and I will point out some of the very adroit observations in our YouTube chat who are backing me up on this, but I think Lindon, the elven kingdom of Lindon, and that's where the High King lived, obviously. It's where we first meet Elrond in the show. Although it was beautiful, the gorgeous, tall trees that seemed to make endless hallways for the elves to walk around, these hallways of the forested wood of Lindon. But there was no architecture of any kind in Lindon. Not a single building. I didn't see an edifice. Did you see any buildings?
Lindon didn't win an award. Numenor won the award.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Numenor is where they spent all their money and their creative efforts. And Eregion and Lindon both are lacking. And there's a lot of folks in the chat who are like, yeah, wow, how about that? But, I really don't think that...
You feel fulfilled that Numenor was everything that you had hoped for.
It was just the start. And yes, it was a beautiful, beautiful start. I loved the nighttime shots of Numenor. I really loved experiencing the docks. They looked real. You know what? The harbor, the actual harbor of Rings of Power, Numenor, that harbor looked more like a realistic ship's harbor than Peter Jackson's The Grey Havens. There, I said it.
There you go.
That's your hot take for the day.
Well,
I mean, the scene at the Grey Havens could have been, but it is obviously not a real harbor. It was like a place that was shot and the boat was put in the background. But when you're looking at the Rings of Power in Numenor, you're like, wow, there's many piers, there's many docks, there's lots of boats. Everything's practical and real, and it seemed that way. But you know what? I know people are going to say, oh, spicy. That's a spicy take, Clifford. But I really do believe that Numenor was very effective, but we do need to see more. And you could tell that there are some hallways, like the kids who are fighting with Isildur and arguing with him are in the same damn hallway.
And then the sword thing, and then the
slow
motion
breaks the guy's arm.
And then the slow motion horse race down the romantic sands of Milford Sound, the beaches of like to go to another place. Like, I don't know. I episode 3 and 4 and 5 are my least favorite episodes by far. I was like checked out by halfway through episode 4. So my opinion.
It was episode 5.
Colored.
It was episode 5 that did that to me. I needed to take a nap.
Yeah. But the best thing that I saw this week was when they announced the winners of 5 awards for Rings of Power.
Yeah.
And they're all creative awards and visual effects and art direction.
Yes.
There are several people on our Facebook and Instagram, which can be toxic places sometimes, but several people in the comments said, you know what? As a hater of the show, mad respect to the quality of the visual effects of the show. Basically, all the people that complain about the same things all the time, bad writing, whatever, acting and whatever like that, bad directing, everyone agrees. Lovers and haters unite that they did the effects right. That's where your $1 billion went to, Jeff Bezos. Your $1 billion went to the best effects. And who did those effects, folks? Let me show you right now. It was Industrial Light and Magic. They are the ones that won all the awards from the Visual Effects Society. You might recognize some of those names. Ron Ames, Jason Smith, Nigel Summer, Tom Proctor, Dean Clark. A lot of these people worked on the Star Wars sequels and are lifelong Lucasfilm and Industrial Light and Magic veterans.
Ah, okay.
So,
yes.
Weta Workshop was involved in the prosthetics and the physical sets. Industrial Light and Magic was in charge of the visual effects.
Yes.
So there you go. It was but even though ILM won for all of the 3 awards for Rings of Power, they still had to say a big congratulations to our friends at Weta FX on their well-deserved record-setting accolades at the Visual Effects Society and the British Academy Film Awards for Avatar: Way of the Water. Game recognizes game. There you go. ILM, the granddaddy of all visual effects houses.
Absolutely.
Celebrating Weta effects on dominating the entire film industry with the quality of the work on Avatar: Way of the Water.
It's crazy. Have you guys been watching any of the Corridor crew on YouTube? Those are the guys who do visual effects, and they'll do a breakdown of really famous motion picture sequences with some of the biggest visual effects things we've ever seen. And they get to sit down and talk with the people from ILM. The professional guys from Weta or whoever's on board will come and visit the guys on Corridor Crew and do a breakdown of the scenes and explain how they did the digital effects, how they married physical and digital aspects of things together. And it is really eye-opening. The guy from Weta, who strangely enough does not have a Kiwi accent, the guy who worked on Avatar: The Way of Water was recently interviewed by the guys on the Corridor Crew, and it was really enlightening to just see how bonkers, really bonkers their effort has been on the James Cameron film to make the most photorealistic water you've ever seen. It's just nuts what they managed to do with all that performance capture. Crazy pants. Really stunning, really.
Weta Workshop built a lot of the props and sets and costumes, and then they scanned them in. So they filmed the motion capture scenes with props and stuff before it got before they replaced it with digital. Yeah. So it's an incredible work. But Cliff, here's what's crazy for me. We've been ride or die with Weta for 20 years, through the Hobbit trilogy, through the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And here we are in the year 2023, and ILM is winning all the Rings of Power awards, and Weta is winning all the film awards for James Cameron. What's going on? It's so...
That's not strange at all.
It's so weird. So congrats to ILM and Weta for all the awards. And as a follow-up to what Cliff just said about Ramsey Avery leaving the show, we have it on good authority that Weta is not returning for season 2 of Rings of Power at all. And so they've hired, and we've reported that in the last couple weeks, they've hired the prosthetics guys from The Last of Us instead of Weta for season 2.
Oh, dear. Okay.
So,
well, wait, somebody, I think it was Daisy Kim in our chat room who had asked who of the acting ensemble had been nominated for acting for Rings of Power. And I believe that would be limited to only Ismael Cruz Cordova. Is that correct?
Right. Ismael Cruz Cordova is the only actor to get nominated other than the stunt ensemble, which I think the stunt ensemble for Rings of Power has a really good chance of winning.
Yeah,
really good.
I think they do. Absolutely, they do. Yes.
Yeah. So here's the crazy thing, folks. If this might be old info for those that watch the show regularly, Ismael is the only actor to get nominated for Rings of Power, and according to our sources, Ismael is not coming back for season 2. So, visual effects, they won an award, and they're not involved in season 2.
They're not involved.
Weta's not involved in season 2. Art director Ramsey Avery just won an award.
Ramsey
not involved
Avery
in season 2.
No longer involved.
Ismael nominated for an acting award, not involved in season 2.
You know, the irony keeps creating itself in a weird way around this show. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of irony going on here. You noticed? Has anybody noticed?
I don't know. I don't know if irony is a thing, but I will say this: that the people that we're hearing are replacing these award-winning talent are equally as award-winning. Like, we might be leveling up, we might be leveling equal on season 2. Basically, the budget is still crazy. Spare no expense. Uncle Jeff Bezos is sparing no expense for season 2.
Indeed.
So don't think that they're cheapening out just because we don't have the award-winning team coming back for season 2.
I'm really glad that Dan H. Bites in the chat has recognized, well, we still have Bear McCreary. He hasn't left. Has he? He hasn't left.
It's too early in the production process to confirm or deny anything. But
no, come on. Let's talk realistically. Justin, wouldn't he have an ironclad contract?
No, the last time I talked to him, he was only commissioned for season 1, and he had no confirmed guaranteed contract for season 2. But this is months ago. Anyways, music comes after season 2 finishes filming. So I don't expect music to even start until next March. So we've got a long time. So I don't think maybe Bear's like scribbling some notes, but I don't know. I don't know if he's contracted or not. Last I heard, he hasn't. But Cliff,
looking at Finrod84, he says, I guarantee you that Weta Visual Effects is going to need all of their artists and animators for the remaining Avatar sequels. I shiver thinking at how they're visually going to top The Way of Water, the most amazing VFX I've ever seen. You know what? That's what I'm talking about. If Weta has an ironclad contract that their visual artists are going to keep working and keep working and keep working on the next and the next and the next James Cameron avatars, why wouldn't Bear McCreary have the same legal protections negotiated for
Rings
him
when entering in to do
this is a multi-season effort. Why wouldn't the same logical paperwork be in place?
Remember, the fan favorite actor Joseph Mall, who played Adar,
yes,
he got replaced for season 2 as well. So nothing matters. There's no carryover. Basically, they're starting from scratch. Like, none of the I think one director out of the 4 are coming back for season 2. So But Weta is, don't doubt Weta, and don't doubt Big Jim for Avatar 3. I'm so excited. They've already shot Avatar 3. It's already shot. So now they're just doing visual effects and finishing the animation on it. So
Indeed.
Speaking of Avatar,
Indeed.
Cliff, Jim Cameron recently said that the first hour of Avatar 3 is already done and complete because it was cut from Avatar 2.
Oh, really?
So there's a big chunk of Avatar 2 that he just decided to cut. Maybe the studio said, hey, you need to make this movie a little shorter because 3 hours is over 3 hours is pushing it. So Avatar 3 gets that. We also have just learned that season 1 of Rings of Power was originally written as 10 episodes.
Right. That's right. We have reported on that in the past. Yes.
Well, award-winning art director Ramsey Avery has confirmed in the press that when he got hired, it was 10 episodes. And as they were starting filming, the studio said, hey, you guys need to cut this down to 8 episodes. And so while they were starting filming...
Why would that be so?
The studio mandated it. So here's what happened. Here's what happened. They filmed the pilot, the 2-part pilot by J.A. Bayona, and then COVID happened, March of 2020. COVID happened, and basically the studio said, you need to cut season 1 to 8 episodes. So between COVID starting and production resuming later that summer, they had to cut 2 episodes worth of thing. So if some stories feel a little disjointed, which I think they do, especially the Galadriel Sauron relationship, it's because it was rewritten. And 2 of those episodes are going to be some of the first episodes in season 2. So basically what I'm saying is James Cameron just did to his movies, took something out of this movie and put it in the next one. Rings of Power is doing the same thing. They take 2 episodes out of season 1. They're putting it right in season 2.
Okay.
Finrod says maybe so they wouldn't have to pay more artists for post-production. Look, this is the biggest budget in history of television. There was no budget limit. Maybe you're onto something there, Finrod. Maybe because of the pandemic, there weren't enough CG artists to get it done in time.
Indeed. Maybe. Ryan in the chat says, I've been rewatching Rings of Power, and it's not as bad as I remember on the first watch.
It's the same with The Hobbit.
I get that. I totally get that point of view. And he continues, it just doesn't feel like a Tolkien adaptation to me. Rather, feels like a modern, high-budget fantasy show, which is, I get that take. I totally understand that take.
Luke Shelton in the chat room says, give us 2 more episodes of Celebrimbor, you cowards. Ha! Well, I'm happy to report that the showrunners have confirmed that Celebrimbor has a lot more to do in season 2.
Yes, he should. And he should. And hello, Luke. Nice to see you, Dr. Luke Shelton. Good to have you here.
And speaking of that, we'll also report, I don't remember hearing this in London, but Fellowship of Fans is reporting that not only does Celebrimbor have a lot to do in season 2, the Witch King has a lot to do in season 4.
Ooh.
The showrunners are telling us that the Witch King has a lot to do in season 4, and Celebrimbor has a lot to do in season 2.
Oh boy. Color me intrigued.
And of course we have Círdan, the shipwright, joining the show this season. And there's 22 new actors on top of the 21 that from last season, or 20, because they killed one, and they killed Lenny Henry, and then they're ditching Arondir Ismail for man.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by what I'm seeing in the chat. That season 2 will also be rumored to have only 8 episodes.
Yes, it is rumored to 8 episodes. Also, we
Okay.
can report that the production, it seems that the producers of the show and the showrunners have come up with a formula for episodes. So rather than being one continuous story for 8 hours over 8 weeks, every episode is going to be a complete small part of the story.
Okay.
The best I can explain it is if you watch Game of Thrones, if you watch Last of Us, and if you watch Westworld, every episode is a nice little self-contained beginning, middle, end. Every episode has feels fulfilling, and they basically right now they're filming every episode individually. So it's one episode is going to be a complete statement. Another episode is going to be a different complete statement. That's what we understand. Season 2 is going to be a little more classic television.
Okay.
A little more peak TV, where each of these episodes are fulfilling on their own, and then they all come together by the season end. Ryan in the chat room says, The Last of Us is so damn well written. Episode 6 is character drama on level max. It is so good. Look, Last of Us.
Agreed.
We've talked about this show before. If you're not watching Last of Us, please be part of the zeitgeist. Start watching it now, because episode 3 might be one of the best episodes in TV history.
Yep. Brilliant stuff.
Episode 4, 5, and 6. Episode 5 features so much prosthetic creatures. That's the dude that did all the creatures in episode 5.
Yes.
Is now on Rings of Power.
Doing not doing cordyceps zombies, but other creatures.
But doing Mordor orcs. And whatever
Mordor
else
orcs,
Sauron
because that's what they're called now, Mordor orcs. They have a name. They have a name for it now.
Cliff, what other creatures does Sauron rally to his army?
We might see more trolls.
Ooh, trolls?
We might see more trolls.
Aren't
we also
there
might see
werewolves, Draculas, vampires.
Well, Sauron, if Sauron himself wants to, he can take the shape of a werewolf.
Oh, he can. But there's no werewolves to be.
Yeah. And Nazgul. Haha. Of Gondor is right on point, saying, Nazgul, baby. I mean, it depends upon how far we see a human being corrupted by one of the 9 rings. I wonder what kind of latex and prosthetics they're going to need on their face.
I want to know how they bury the 9 kings in that cliffside that we see in The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. Remember when Gandalf and Radagast go up into the mountains to look at the crypts, the 9 crypts, and they're open? Yep. There are skin changers, right, Cliff? But are skin changers good guys or bad guys? Or are they just kind of like whatever?
They're neutral. The skin changers are the line of people that are the forefathers of Beorn from the Hobbit film. And to answer your question, Ryan, did I hear you say Arondir is being written out of the show? Was told this was only a rumor not long back.
He's not being written out of the show. He's
just temporarily taking off season 2 with the anticipation to come back in season 3 or 4, right?
Yeah. They wrote him out of season 2 because season 2 is going to be Sauron's story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a focus on Sauron. And we're reporting multiple Saurons, so multiple actors playing Sauron. Cliff, I want to get your answer on this, but I'll answer first. XOXO wants to know theories on who we think will be Witch King. Here's my theory. We have not met any of the 17 ring bearers.
No, come on, Justin. We have met Waldreg. We have met Theo.
Yeah.
We have met at least two individuals who will be ring bearers of the 9 rings for men.
You think? Remember, there are 9 men and 7 dwarves that need to take these rings.
I guarantee you that Theo, the entire storyline that Theo has is going to be the struggle of that young boy becoming a young man and wanting to deal with the world in his own way. And Anatar's going to give him a ring. Watch what happens then. Watch and see how emotional and interesting his struggle will be after Sauron gives him a ring.
Does Durin get a ring? I don't think so.
Oh, hey, good question. Don't know. You mean Prince Durin's father, who is also mysteriously named Durin?
And as of the last episode, Durin, there's only one Durin. There is no betrothed Durin anymore. He goes by his dwarven name now, right? Because he's been stripped of the title of Durin.
Right.
I don't think Durin gets corrupted.
No, I don't. I don't think Waldreg will become the mouth of Sauron, because that might be someone from the island of Numenor. There might be a Numenorian who stays really, really evil and is worshiping Morgoth because Sauron influences him, and of course, everybody else, almost, everybody on Numenor.
Can I just say,
and I think that will be a new character, perhaps, who will be called a Black Numenorian, who will be allied to Morgoth / Sauron. That might be a new character, but I don't think Waldreg is going to be the mouth of Sauron.
At the end of the day...
Oh, okay. Daisy Kim is onto a point. Huh. What about Pharazôn's son?
Yeah, I don't even want to think of Numenor because it really had no purpose to be in season 1. Also, Theo should have opened the key, not Waldreg. They set up Theo to be the king, the kingmaker, the ring maker, the ringmaster. Like the fact that Waldreg is the one to open the lock, like that should have been Theo. I don't understand what the writers were thinking, giving Waldreg so much. I don't know, man. I just didn't like that character.
Because he's got a future. He's got a future working for Sauron.
Who? Waldreg?
Waldreg. Yeah.
Oh no, I hope not. He said he seems just like man. Nampat.
Okay, I don't know. I think it's all set up for future stuff they're going to do. That's just my opinion.
All right. Cliff, you know what else happened this week? Oh, you missed it last week. We reported on John Howe showed up in Atlanta this week.
Oh, really?
And was part of a museum opening, and turns out they had a whole thing with Ramsey Avery and John Howe in Atlanta, and the local Rough Draft Atlanta got an exclusive interview with John Howe, Ramsey Avery, and Kate Hawley, 3 people that are not involved in season 2, talking about season 1 of Rings of Power. And it's a wonderful thing, and we'll send out the link to this, but if you want to look it up, it's Rough Draft Atlanta, in conversation with the Mayans. But in this, John Howe talks about having 150 sketchbooks for Rings of Power season 1.
Oh,
and
wow.
40 sketchbooks filled of things he knows is coming in season 2.
Wow.
Now remember, they moved 2 episodes to season 2. So it's quite possible that John Howe did work for episodes that are now in season 2.
Okay. So that means, even though we're just saying this as a rumor, it hasn't been confirmed by any official statement by Prime Video, but this means his work and his contributions are continuing and continuing as we go forward.
That's right. Luke Shelton is in the chat, and he says he talked to John Howe in a live conversation, and John did say he was working during the production of season 2. So there you go.
Yeah.
But if they're in the middle of pre-production on episodes and production on episodes, like, you would think John Howe would be working, not in Atlanta.
You would think so, but you know what? If he's on a little bit of a break, then he's earned it. I certainly think John Howe has earned it. Do you know he's in demand for many other things, even licensed board game designers, the people who are making Tolkien-based card games and board games, they're always asking John Howe to work and do illustrations for their games. And he might even be working on a calendar. We don't know. He might be caught up in other demands from the publisher.
Well, we know he's working on
he's
War
a
of the Rohirrim.
very busy man.
Him and Alan Lee are returning for War of the Rohirrim from Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema.
Ooh, very exciting. That's very exciting.
That is super exciting. Cliff, before we let everybody go, a little birdie told someone in our Discord.
Does this mean it came through a tweet? No.
It came through our Discord.
It came through a Discord.
So someone's friend is currently at Universal Studios, Florida. And the employees, the minimum wage employees that are just running the theme parks, picking up trash and serving drinks and running the rides, are all basically wide open with like, oh yeah, Lord of the Rings land, it's being built over there.
Oh, wow.
So people on the ground, we've been reporting this for 5 years now, Cliff, have we not?
Wow.
People on the ground,
Really?
Employees are having loose lips and they're sinking ships. Loose lips sink ships. Employees at Universal Studios Florida have reported on telling random customers that yes, there is a Lord of the Rings theme park coming. We've been reporting this for some time now. Why haven't they announced it yet? The Embracer deal has complicated things and delayed any announcements. So where is it going to be in Florida? Let me show you.
Oh gosh. Wow.
This is Epic Universe. Epic Universe is a brand new full theme park 2 miles south of Universal Studios, Florida. It's still part of Universal Studios land. It is a huge facility that is bigger than Disneyland. The park entrance you can see at the bottom, and this is just a fan website here, graphic. A fan website made this graphic of the rumors that are happening.
Do you mean bigger than Disney World, which is the Orlando version of the Disney park?
Bigger than Disneyland. That's all I'll say now. But there's a park entrance and a series of fountains. There's Super Nintendo World, which is bigger than the one that just opened in Hollywood. Supposedly there's a How to Train Your Dragon. I'll get into that in a minute. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter is getting its own complete land in Florida. Of course, a giant hotel and a central hub, and then a Universal Monsters area with dark rides and roller coasters and things like that. How to Train Your Dragon is a wonderful movie series. It's actually probably one of the best CG animated movie trilogies ever made, and the soundtrack is fantastic. And if you guys haven't watched the How to Train Your Dragon series, you should. But I don't think this is completely accurate. Completely accurate. And I don't think that they would put Wizarding World next to Lord of the Rings land. I do think that maybe Universal Monsters is not going to be Universal Monsters. It's actually going to be Lord of the Rings land. But as part of Epic Universe, there is a giant Lord of the Rings land based on Peter Jackson's visual movies. So
wow.
The rumors are heating up. That's the Green Dragon gossip for today. Cliff, I wanted to ask you this, and I want to ask the chat room. If Amazon ends up doing a deal with Embracer and all the film rights and all the movie rights, everything goes to Amazon. So Amazon becomes a one-stop shop for all Lord of the Rings merch, future movies, future games, future TV shows, everything. Is it appropriate? Would you be okay with young Galadriel and young Elrond walking around Peter Jackson-based theme park at Universal with the photo ops and everything?
You mean Rings of Power characters?
Yeah. Would you be okay with a photo op with the Rings of Power version of Galadriel and Elrond in a theme park based on Peter Jackson's Middle-earth movies?
That would be confusing and weird.
Would it?
Yeah.
Because we know for sure, it was written in the contract with Amazon that the Tolkien estate does not want a multiverse. They do not want separate universes. They don't. The Tolkien estate isn't a big fan of how DC has all these different multiverses and Marvel starting to do that. They want a continuous. They want one Middle Earth. That's right. What the Tolkien family wants. One Middle Earth. So does it make sense? Are you just being an old fuddy-duddy by saying you don't like that? Should we prepare ourselves for a Peter Jackson Hobbit barrel ride, and then you walk off that ride and there's a photo op with young Galadriel from Rings of Power? One Middle Earth.
No, I don't think that idea is workable at all. A lot of people in the chat are also in disagreement with what you're proposing. It's interesting. One chat person said only if one section of the park is dedicated to the Second Age, then those Second Age characters would wander around in that area of the park only. But it's also worth saying that, here you go. Finrod84 says, oh God, I hope not. Ryan says, not a chance, Justin, not a chance. Warner Brothers will never do it. They just invested heavily in DC, and they know that Tolkien is money.
Right. So any rumors you hear about complaining about Warner Brothers being sitting on the rights or being squatters or things like that, I promise you, it's big boy pants time. Amazon wants to win the rights at all costs. Warner Brothers wants to keep the rights at all costs. Fans want Peter Jackson's world in theme park form. Fans want more merch based on both the movies and the games. We want games based on Peter Jackson's world.
Right.
We're going to love the new video games that come out that are based, not on Peter Jackson's world, because good games are good games. But, and a lot of times fans don't know exactly what they will want, but we do know what we would like most is a Peter Jackson theme park, not a Rings of Power theme park at this moment.
Actually, I'm going to go way, way back to what we've said months ago and say that Studio Ghibli, that created a wildlife preserve nature trail kind of theme park with some specific environments, but without a bunch of crazy rides and nonsense. That'd be way more interesting to see a Middle Earth or an Arda themed place, which is like a recreation park, a nature park, not a regular shiny plastic theme park. It would be
go to New
way
Zealand.
more interesting.
If you want to live that park life, go to New Zealand and visit Hobbiton. I want a theme park. I want a barrel ride, a barrel water ride. I want a roller coaster that takes me all through Erebor. Like, I want to fly on the back of a Nazgul or an eagle. Like,
okay, and that's fine too. And that's fine too. But I would prefer to have something less mechanized and something more natural, something based on the natural world. And
have you been to Star Wars Land?
They succeeded greatly in Japan in Studio Ghibli's effort to create a beautiful, beautiful park to visit. And it is not like Shanghai Disneyland or Tokyo Disneyland.
Look, there's going to be a theme park
not
Lord
like
of the Rings. It's not going to be an idyllic. You can go to Hobbiton in New Zealand if you want the idyllic listen to the birds, right? Like, this is a theme park in Florida at Universal, right across the street from the Wizarding World, which is well done. Just like the Star Wars theme park is well done, isn't it?
Do you know that yesterday I went to Universal Studios Hollywood for the very first time ever to experience the Wizarding World and the attractions here at the Hollywood Universal theme park. Of course, it was about, 19 or 20 years since I'd been back at Universal Studios. And wow, the Wizarding World is really, really super cool, even though it's in a smaller space than they have in the Orlando park, much smaller land, much smaller geography. What they managed to do was super cool. And I loved the featured rides and the environments. The art department did a great job. And I got to admit, my first time experiencing it, I went into Ollivander's, and I, unfortunately, or maybe it was fortunate, but I was chosen by the Wand Master to be the person in the room who was selected to get their magic wand and to go through the experimental spells to try to find the right wand for me. It was hilarious. It was really fun. Going into a Middle-earth theme park could have just as many opportunities for really fun and appealing things, but it could distinguish itself from everybody else. Like we've just acknowledged, Justin, it is a very crowded marketplace for these big IP-based theme parks. And for the folks at Studio Ghibli to have done something beautiful and unique to differentiate themselves from the rest of the crowd, I think that if we're doing Arda Land or Middle-earth Land, they could also afford to do something unique and different that sets it apart from everybody else. Really.
Well, look, the latest rumor on this theme park is
that yes, Finrod, I am a Ravenclaw.
Lord of the Rings
yes,
land
I am a Ravenclaw. Yes,
will be anchored by the party tree.
I think that'd be wonderful. The party tree and Bag End should be the ultimate center of the entire park. That'd be great.
Right, just like Nintendo World does well at Universal Hollywood, so does Wizarding World. And so, look, Warner Brothers is all in, Universal's all in, and I just hope everything can get settled and things can get announced, because these rumors are killing me. These rumors are killing me. But
Luke, I agree. Luke Shelton says, but it is different from Potter because it isn't a portal fantasy. There is no wink to the audience in Lord of the Rings like there is in Potter. Yep. That's right.
Well, I'm just starting to prepare emotionally over the concept of, if everybody has to play nice, that young Galadriel, young Elrond, young Sauron are walking around the theme park doing photo ops and with the kids and everything like that. After you get off your ride, maybe your water ride into Orodruin, maybe season 1, maybe episode 6 of season 1 turns into a water ride. Okay,
it's a water ride to terraform Mordor. Oh God. No, stop it, Justin.
Anyway, get used to it, because I think I'd be fine if Rings of Power characters are walking around. If Rings of Power orcs are walking around with Peter Jackson Uruk eyes, I'm okay with that. Like, I know it's gonna break your mind, and that's a second age thing, and that's a third age thing, and they shouldn't even be here. Like, we need to get over that. The future is new video games, new theme parks, and everybody playing nice together.
And VR. Let's not forget what weird and wonderful things is going to come next in the world of VR with Middle-earth, because that could be a thing too, right? Okay, what a wonderful show. Justin, it is really lovely to see you again here this week on Torn Tuesday. And all you beautiful, beautiful people there in the chat. Thank you, Cecilia Atalante, Ryan of Gondor, Otaku, Senpai, Orion's Angel, XOXO, Susan, hey there. You know what, Daisy Kim, you did say one of the best one-liners today. She said, you can simply walk into Mordor. If you're doing
Imagine
a theme park,
big old Grand at the front gate.
No, that's funny. You're so funny. Look, I don't know. I don't want to see tacky shit at a theme park for Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. I want it to be classy, nuanced, and more thoughtful. I would like for it to be more thoughtful
to New Zealand
than your usual junk.
Then go to New Zealand. That's all I can say. It's there if you want it. It's right there. But I want thrilling adventure.
Okay. Well, you know what? You can have thrilling adventure. And it doesn't have to be tacky and weird. Anyways.
And remember, at Hobbiton in New Zealand, you can now book stays inside Hobbit holes on Airbnb. So you can stay in Hobbiton just like Bilbo did. So there you go.
There would really thank you, Brian. That's awesome. I'm telling you.
Dude, imagine a roller coaster for
Smaug.
Moria.
I can imagine Smaug the dragon and his attack of Laketown as a terrifying, wild roller coaster. I can see that.
Imagine the queue area for a Balrog Moria thing, where like the queue is like going downstairs and going upstairs and going across the Great Hall of Dwarrowdelf. Imagine the queue area is Dwarrowdelf. Like,
you know what? AIM, I believe you. AIM says, like theme parks aren't tacky on their own, Cliff. Yes, LOL. Yes, I understand. But look at what Studio Ghibli did. Making a nature preserve.
Go to New Zealand. They did that for Lord of the Rings in New Zealand.
I think the idea of a nature preserve with very specific themed environments.
They did that.
And, it could, yes.
They did that.
It could be that a Middle-earth theme park will come along eventually, but it doesn't need to be shoved in the back corner in between Nintendo Land and Harry Potter Land. It could be its own separate thing. Okay? Anyways, you're starting to get on my nerve now, Justin. Come on. Okay. All right. This is a lovely show. We have more news and rumors and more things to share with you guys next week on Torn Tuesday. Of course.
And look, at the end of the day, congrats to everybody involved on Rings of Power. We appreciate all of the friendship, all of the quality of work. We love everything that you guys have done. We loved seeing the title treatment get made, and we love that it's winning awards. We love all the production design and art design and the visual effects by ILM. Everything. Congrats. This is well deserved.
Yes. Absolutely.
And everyone is in agreement. The negative people, the positive people, the diehards, the Haladriels, the unhinged fellowship, and even the hate tubers, they're all in agreement. You deserve the awards that you just got this week.
Yes, they did.
They're
very well earned, very much on point, and very deserved. Absolutely. And I'm excited by the stunt performers nomination. I really am. And I hope that it bodes well for future changes to the Board of Governors of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts of Sciences and their really, really lacking approach to acknowledging stunt performers. I hope that bodes well for them and that can change soon. So let's see what happens next, guys. WonderCon is literally around the corner. Before we close the show, I believe we should mention that Torn, the OneRing.net, will be present officially at WonderCon coming up in Anaheim, California. It's just a few weeks away. It's a very affordable weekend.
Sunday, and it's a very affordable. It's in Anaheim, across the street from Disneyland. It's affordable. You can get a one-day pass. We'll be there on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. We'll be there on Sunday. Everybody, look into WonderCon. Come and join us, and we'll have a really fantastic time. We'll have many things to share, and we'll have a wonderful panel presentation, and maybe a few surprises. Who knows?
And congrats
Justin,
to Kate Blanchett for winning a BAFTA, I believe. She won a big British award this weekend.
For Tar.
For Tar.
Yes. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see it.
Diamita, what do you mean? Why can't we have nice things in the States? We just spent 20 minutes talking about a theme park in Florida. This is the nicest thing. All right. Take us out.
You're so funny, dude. You guys are wonderful. Ryan, thank you for that endorsement. I'm going to check it out very soon. I cannot wait to see Kate Blanchett in this movie. I really cannot wait to see it. Final thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Well, it was very, very derivative.
I loved it. It's so much fun. It's the type of movie you go on Sunday after church.
But I still had a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, even though it was very, very derivative of anything we've ever seen before from sci-fi and comic book movies, it was still enjoyable. And surprise, surprise, who ran away with the whole movie? Michelle Pfeiffer. It's her movie. The entire movie, she stole it. So congratulations to Michelle Pfeiffer
and shout out
stealing the whole damn movie.
It's her movie, it's her story, but shout out to our friend Evangeline Lilly, who took the drama of the love triangle in the Hobbit movies and wrote into her all future contracts after Hobbit that her character will never be in a love triangle. And she's holding to that, and now she is in the third of these Ant-Man movies, and she's still like just an awesome CEO, scientist, Evangeline Lilly, doing the thing. And it's just, I'm so proud of her.
Good. Yeah. Excellent. Well said. Well, you know what, everybody, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us here on Torn Tuesday. It's wonderful to have you all here. And before we sign off, is there anything else, Justin? Any other weird, bizarre surprises?
Just, you guys need to check out Bear McCreary's new blog where he talks about Disa singing and his wife singing, two different people. And
love it.
And then get ready for another Last of Us this Sunday, because I think there's going to be more creatures, and the creature person that did Last of Us is now on Rings of Power, and we're so excited.
And my last bit of advice for the week: do not be sleeping on Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Do not be sleeping on it. It's getting really good and very dark, emotional, interesting places that some of these characters are going that I didn't expect. Really good stuff. Keep going, Dave Filoni and company. Good job. Oh, wait, Mandalorian next week? Is it coming out next week or in 2 weeks?
I don't know. I can't keep.
Yeah, well, it's around the corner
with all the Star Wars stuff.
We're 2 weeks away from the Mandalorian season 3. I'm excited. Okay,
Rings of Power needs their own Dave Filoni. That's what it needs.
Yeah. Boom. Let's just end the show on that. Say that one more time, and we're going to end the show.
Rings of Power needs its own Dave Filoni.
Boom. Mic drop. Everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Tuesday right here at theonering.net on Torn Tuesday. You can follow us on all social media platforms, on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and Twitter, and a lot of other places at The One Ring Net. Just take out the dot. You can find me and follow me at QuickBeam2000 on Instagram and Twitter. That guy right there, that's Justin's big idea. Say hello to him. And we'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Please take good care of yourselves. Be gentle with one another. Everybody in the northern United States, watch out for that icy winter storm. It's a bad one. It's a doozy. Be safe and be careful out there. Lots of love to all of you. Until next week, buenos noches y buena suerte. Good night and good luck. How about that new microphone?
Nobody complained about my AI eyes.